outsider who changed the game. In the annals of history, few have dared to challenge the established order the way Donald Trump has. A billionaire real estate mogul, a reality TV star, and a political outsider, Donald Trump wasn't the man anyone expected to become the leader of the free world. And yet, on a cold January day, he stood on the steps of the US Capitol, placing his hand on the Bible, being sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. How did a man with no prior political experience rise to the highest office in the land? What drove him to break into an arena dominated by seasoned politicians? And what made millions of Americans rally behind him, believing in his promise to make America great again? This is the story of a man who thrived on controversy, turned obstacles into opportunities, and disrupted the political landscape like never before. From his early days in New York to his surprising political rise and unprecedented presidency, Donald Trump's journey is one of ambition, controversy, and impact. The question remains, was he the leader America needed, or the disruptor no one saw coming? 1. Early life and background. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946 in Queens, New York City, as the fourth of 5 children to Fred and Mary Trump. His father, Fred Trump, was a prominent real estate developer, building affordable housing for middle-class families in New York City. From an early age, Donald exhibited ambition, confidence, and a penchant for leadership, qualities that would define his life. He attended the New York Military Academy at the age of 13 after showing rebellious behavior at home. The academy played a significant role in shaping his discipline and competitive nature. Trump later attended Fordham University before transferring to the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania, where he graduated in 1968 with a degree in economics. From his father, Donald inherited not just wealth but a keen sense of business, especially in real estate. Fred Trump instilled in him the importance of branding and leveraging his name, lessons that Donald took to heart and elevated to new levels in his career. Rise as a businessman. 2.1. Entry into real estate. In the early 1970s, Donald Trump joined his father's real estate company, which focused on middle-income housing in Brooklyn and Queens. However, Donald had bigger aspirations. He wanted to expand into Manhattan, where the real estate market was more prestigious and lucrative. One of his early successes was the transformation of the Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt in 1980. This deal not only showcased his business acumen, but also established his brand as synonymous with luxury and grandeur. 2.2. Iconic projects and the Trump brand. Over the next few decades, Trump expanded his empire with projects like Trump Tower, a 58-story skyscraper in Manhattan, became an emblem of his brand. He also ventured into casinos, golf courses, and even airlines. His name became a symbol of wealth, power, and opulence. Trump's success was not limited to real estate. He diversified into licensing his name for various products, including clothing, fragrances, and furniture, turning Trump into a global brand. 2.3. Controversies and challenges. Despite his success, Trump's business career was riddled with controversies. He filed for corporate bankruptcy multiple times to restructure debt for his casinos in Atlantic City. Critics accused him of over-leveraging and mismanagement, but Trump argued that these moves were strategic and necessary to keep his empire afloat. Lawsuits also followed Trump throughout his business career, from allegations of racial discrimination in housing policies in the 1970s to disputes with contractors and partners. Yet, Trump remained resilient, often turning controversies into opportunities for greater publicity. 3. Public persona and media career. By the 1980s and 1990s, Trump had become a household name, not just for his real estate ventures, but also for his larger-than-life personality. His appearances on talk shows, in magazines, and even cameos in movies like Home Alone 2 cemented his status as a pop culture icon. In 2004, Trump became the host and executive producer of The Apprentice, a reality TV show where contestants competed for a chance to work for him. The show was a massive hit, running for 14 seasons and introducing his famous catchphrase, "You're fired." The Apprentice played a pivotal role in shaping Trump's public image as a decisive, no-nonsense businessman. It also gave him a platform to connect with millions of Americans, many of whom admired his straightforwardness and success. For political ambitions. Trump's political aspirations were evident long before his 2016 campaign. In the late 1980s, he flirted with the idea of running for president, even running ads criticizing American foreign policy. In 2000, he briefly campaigned for the presidency under the Reform Party, but later dropped out. By 2011, Trump began making headlines again, this time by questioning then-President Barack Obama's birthplace. This birther controversy earned him both criticism and support, but it kept him in the political spotlight. In 2015, Trump announced his candidacy for the presidency, running as a Republican. His campaign was unlike any other. He rejected political correctness, criticized the establishment, and promised to make America great again. His campaign themes of immigration reform, economic revival, and national security resonated with many Americans who felt left behind by traditional politicians. 5. Presidency, 2070 to 2021. Donald Trump's presidency was one of the most unconventional and controversial in U.S. history. As the 45th president, inaugurated in January 2017, he brought a new approach to governance, focusing on his America First policy and challenging traditional political norms. 5.1 Key Achievements. Trump's tenure was marked by several significant accomplishments that reshaped the U.S. economy, judiciary, and foreign policy. Economic policies. His administration implemented the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which lowered corporate tax rates and provided tax relief to individuals. Trump also focused on reducing regulations that, according to his administration, were hindering businesses. One of his landmark achievements was renegotiating NAFTA, which was replaced by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, a trade deal aimed at boosting American manufacturing and protecting intellectual property. These policies contributed to record low unemployment rates and a booming stock market before the COVID-19 pandemic. Foreign policy. Trump's foreign policy centered around his America First doctrine. He brokered the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations between Israel and several Arab nations, including the UAE and Bahrain, an achievement hailed as historic in Middle Eastern diplomacy. He took a hardline stance on China, imposing tariffs to protect U.S. industries and addressing intellectual property theft. Additionally, Trump made history by becoming the first sitting U.S. president to meet with a North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, in an effort to de-escalate nuclear tensions. Judicial appointments. One of Trump's most lasting legacies is his appointment of 3 conservative Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These appointments shifted the court to a conservative majority, influencing key legal decisions for decades to come. 2. Controversies. Despite his achievements, Trump's presidency was fraught with controversies, many of which polarized the nation. Impeachment. Trump became the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. The first impeachment in 2019 was over allegations of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress regarding his dealings with Ukraine. The second impeachment in 2021 accused him of incitement of insurrection following the January 6 Capitol riot. Although acquitted both times by the Senate, the events fueled intense political divisions. COVID-19 pandemic. His handling of the pandemic drew widespread criticism. Critics accused him of downplaying the severity of the virus in its early stages and clashing with public health officials. However, his administration was credited for the rapid development and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines under Operation Warp Speed. Racial and social tensions. Trump's rhetoric on immigration, law enforcement, and protests over racial injustice often deepened societal divides. His policies, like the travel ban targeting Muslim-majority countries and the family separation policy at the border, sparked national and international outrage. 6. Post-presidency and the 2024 campaign. After leaving office in January 2021, Trump remained one of the most influential figures in American politics. Despite facing numerous legal challenges, including investigations into his business dealings and alleged election interference, he continued to dominate the Republican Party. In late 2022, Trump officially announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election, vowing to restore America. His campaign focused on themes of economic revival, securing borders, and undoing what he described as the failures of the Biden administration. By leveraging his strong base of loyal supporters, Trump successfully secured the Republican nomination. His rallies, characterized by large crowds and fiery speeches, energized his campaign. In a historic political comeback, Trump was elected as the 47th President of the United States, defying critics and proving his enduring appeal. His return to the presidency highlighted his ability to navigate controversies and remain a formidable force in American politics. Legacy and impact. Donald Trump's legacy is one of the most polarizing in modern history. While his supporters celebrate him as a disruptor who challenged the establishment and prioritized American interests, his critics view him as a divisive figure whose policies and rhetoric exacerbated societal tensions. Impact on politics. Trump's rise to power marked the transformation of the Republican Party into a populist, nationalist movement. He redefined the party's priorities, focusing on issues like border security, trade, and skepticism of globalism. Impact on media. Trump's presidency revolutionized the use of social media in politics. Through platforms like Twitter, he bypassed traditional media channels to communicate directly with the public. His combative relationship with the press also led to debates about media bias and the role of journalism in democracy. Impact on society. Under Trump, cultural and political divisions in America deepened, sparking debates on issues like race, immigration, and the balance of power between federal and state governments. His presidency also mobilized new waves of activism, both in support of and against his administration. Global influence. Trump's leadership style and policies influenced populist movements worldwide, inspiring leaders in countries like Brazil, Hungary, and the Philippines. His America First approach reshaped alliances, disrupted traditional diplomacy, and left a lasting impact on global geopolitics. While historians and analysts continue to debate his legacy, one thing is clear: Donald Trump's impact on America and the world is undeniable. Whether as a businessman, television personality, or politician, his story is one of ambition, controversy, and defiance of convention.